Bars.
It's
We
probably
don't
gonna get
really
worse.
know. But this is the Beyond Bars podcast at the Lincoln Lodge. We have a very special guest today. But off the top, we are collectively. I'm Catherine Gongaware.
I am Kyrie the Comic.
And I am severely underpaid. I'm Felonious Monk, man, and welcome to my dear friend. Would you say your name, man?
It's Jarrell Scott Barnes, comedian, writer.
Sure.
Comedian, writer, and we are here at the
Very
Lincoln Lodge.
funny comedian.
Thank you. I've been waiting for the monk
and a
seal of
producer
approval.
and an actor. He does all the things.
Trying at least. But I'm enjoying the process. Monk, do you have anything to say, Monk?
Mm-mm.
All right, this shit is turning annoying. This shit look like
And this
way
is how it
annoying.
happened. See, you walked in. I was so excited for you to be here. I was very
All right,
excited.
let's make peace. Let's make
Can
peace.
we
Let's
just
go ahead.
Can we just make?
No, I'm trying to do that right now. I'm trying to do that
Make
right
peace.
now. You walked in. I was excited for you to be here. I legitimately was the one. I texted. I was like, "Hey, man, we should have Jarrell on for an episode,
Okay.
so he could speak. You know what I mean? He could say his side of everything." And then today, I'm excited. I wasn't even gonna come. I didn't feel good today. I was under the weather, but I was like, "No, this is Jarrell episode. I have to be here." And the first thing you said when you walked in was, "What the fuck are you looking at?"
Don't
And
act-
I was talking. I'm not going to interrupt you. Now we can sing together, but only one of us can talk at a time. So once you started that, as usual, and I have witnesses to this, as usual, you started, and I say the most aggressive thing possible after that because I'm hoping that you'll go, "Hey man, this motherfucker is ridiculous. He goes too far." Because that's what you say. I always go too far. So I'm hoping that if I go too far, you'll stop. But you never stop. And then that's how shit goes left. You could just walk and be like, "Hey man, how you doing?" I'd be like, "Hey Jarrell," but you never do that. You start it and then I finish it.
So what I heard was Felonious take some accountability.
I acknowledge that I finish them. I definitely go too far, but I feel like if
I
you
thought
start
we was talking
roasting
about
me,
the legal system in America.
I go too far there too. That's how I got locked up. Fuck. I feel like if
That's
somebody,
actually a pretty good point.
That's how I go.
You're a habitual line stepper.
I fuck a line. Don't put a line down. Why
Oh,
would you put a
shit.
line down?
Yeah, I mean that's just been our interaction since I was like a kid. So it was
Since you was, I ain't known you that long, dog.
Yes, you
How
have.
old are you?
I'm 31. I've known you since I was like 23, 22.
And you thought you was a kid at 23, 22?
I feel like I
Wow.
I
was.
thought you started stand-up when you was a teenager.
I was.
He
I
did.
didn't know Monk until I was 22.
When did you
23.
start stand up?
16. He just said, yeah.
Okay.
I don't want to tell your story. I mean, because you was just talking about you was visiting the county at like 15.
Yeah.
Talk about more about your life so people who are listening can know more about you.
Yeah, man, you're an interesting dude.
Uh,
See what I mean? All I said was you're an interesting dude.
I don't know what to do to diffuse this. Last
can't-
time
I don't
tried
know.
to mediate Catherine, and
I
Jarrell
just-
told me
I
I was
just
using too
can't.
many therapy words.
He did say you was being therapeutic. And
I
then
think-
today he goes, "You gaslit me."
At some point, we got to start this podcast.
We started 20 minutes ago.
Oh, okay. This is the podcast?
Absolutely.
Okay.
All right.
Today.
Today.
I guess.
Today.
Today. I
No,
guess.
for real. What, like
Yeah.
you said,
You said you were-
14. You were visiting. Was that like 26th Street or like at Statesville? What? Like where was it?
It was on 26th Street, just Cook
Okay.
County. My cousin was locked up for like 6-7 years. It
Jesus.
was for some like home invasion stuff that kind of went left, and he was in there. So yeah, sometimes my dad used to make me go visit him, see if stuff was going on. So that was like my first kind of introduction. Then I think, but I got arrested when I was 14. Never mind, I scratched that. I got arrested when I was 14, fighting
Cool.
some kids,
Oh,
and then they
you was
arrested.
violent.
It's lightweight, a little
Yeah.
bit, but not like.
I get that energy from you a lot. It's like a lot of violence,
yeah.
a lot of fire, so like a lot of chaos around you. So is you like fighting kids at school or like after school? Is this gang activity or just like straight up fighting? No, I know I know that you at least grew up in neighborhoods where gangs were. I'm not
Were
saying you in a
gangs
gang.
there?
I'm
Yeah.
just saying there were gangs
No, I
in your
I
neighborhood.
wasn't
growing
in a
up.
gang.
Yeah.
It was a fight.
No, just straight up one-on-ones or they jumped you.
No, it was a big brawl. It was a big
Oh, it
brawl.
was like a
Multiple people.
like Allen Iverson like at the bowling alley brawl type shit.
Wait, what?
You didn't know Allen Iverson that's why he didn't finish his senior year of high school and
'Cause
John
he was
Thompson.
bowling?
It was in a
Cause he
bowling
caught that
alley. It was a big ass brawl. Yeah.
What happened?
He went to the bowling alley. It was like after his junior year, they had won state. They're all celebrating at the bowling alley, and then somebody apparently threw a chair. A big brawl breaks out, and he gets suspended. He actually got arrested, but he ended up getting suspended for his senior year of high school, so he couldn't play basketball or football. His mom went to D.C., talked to John Thompson, and said, if you don't do something, his life is fucked up. And John Thompson came down, talked to him, find out if he was okay. And like, are you going to do this shit again? Or was that a one-off shit? He was like, I'm done. And that's how he ended up at Georgetown, because Allen Iverson was the best athlete coming out that year. But that Bowling Alley brawl, look at it. They did a documentary about it. Like, that shit was so crazy that it had the whole area around the city that it happened in. Yeah. It got like racially divided. It was a big deal. Crazy. So when you said brawl, I just thought about that. It was either that or the Malice at the Palace.
Malice at the Palace was crazy.
So like that's what I'm saying. It was like it was like a big fight with a bunch of people, and you just happened to be in it protecting yourself. You was protecting yourself, or you was like an initiator.
It was some where I lived. It was so on the south side. There's some parts of the city where they're like cops are living there with like their kids. So I was opposite to Evergreen Park. Oh. So it's like we were over here. The
cops,
kids, the little privileged kids was like over there. So it was a situation where one of the kids, you know, Irish teenagers sometimes they're like a little bit. They're very.
I don't know a lot of Irish teenagers.
Yeah, well, at the time they were.
Do.
Yeah.
I was trying to make eye contact.
Now they know why we have the type of cast.
You ain't see me. I was like
Fuck
this. I was
off,
like,
people, because I don't know what Irish teens do either.
I was trying to look at them like, hey, all I know is they go to Catholic schools. I don't know. That was fun. No, so you. This is true, a real legitimate, sincere question. Do you feel like those kids felt protected by their parents, so they was like talking shit like y'all ain't gonna do shit because you know my daddy a cop?
No, I was gonna tell you the situation. One of the kids across the street were yelling like the N-word. So they was yelling. They was just saying, hey, you know, nigga this, nigga that. And a lot of the friends that I was around just wasn't really with that.
Oh, they don't like
so
to be
it was
called
just kind of
niggas.
like 5-on-5 and whatever like that.
Okay. So it was a fair. It was a fair. It was a fair ones.
It was fair ones,
Yeah.
but one of the cops
picked up too.
But one of the cops' dad, who was a cop, he was off duty. He came and like he had his like friends around, so it was like off-duty policemen that like subdued us, which made it a little bit more physical than what we would have wanted to be. So we were the ones that went to jail, and we didn't go like straight to jail, but we went to like hold until our parents picked us up, and they made us like apologize when they said the N-word in the first place, or they was gonna press charges. So what is a family to do in that situation?
This is exactly what we talked about in the episode a couple weeks ago.
I don't know.
It's RFK Jr. saying that black parents need to, because that's the lesson, right? The lesson is that the black kids were responsible for handling the racism better.
Did they cop to doing it? Did the white kids cop to doing what they were doing, and they were just like, you shouldn't come at us?
We explained
like
the
that,
whole
or did they just lie?
situation,
but did the white kids admit that they called y'all niggas?
Did they admit it or they lie?
They lied.
Yeah.
They lied.
So,
but we weren't able to be next to the kids when we were at the jail cell, so I didn't really physically see them. I had to apologize to the parents. So when I got in there, they were just like, either we're going to charge you or you're going to apologize. And that was like the deal. And, you know, so my mom, you know, and
you better go in there and apologize to them nice white folks.
but it sounds like
no,
that sounds so systemic.
No. My mom knew what the situation was.
Right. She was just like, hey, man.
But if
stay
I'm
out of
like
jail.
14, I don't know where my life going to go. Also, having a charge is going to be hard to even get a job. Obviously, you guys talk about that, obviously, on this podcast, right? So, like, what are you to do in that situation?
And that's what I was saying. Like, in that RFK situation, the idea that black parents don't already raise their kids to prepare themselves to handle this or to make the right choices. But when you're 14 years old, 15, 17, 20, with an undeveloped frontal lobe, the idea that somebody can say something to you that's intentionally antagonizing, and at that age, you just go, you're not gonna hurt my feelings. Get the fuck out of here, man. That's not even realistic.
At the minimum.
Right, bare minimum, we call it antagonizing. I'm trying to be kind, and it's not just the word. That's the other thing. Is the idea is it's the word, who their parents are, where they live, and the intent behind it. But sure, it's just a word. Yeah, you should have beat their ass worse and then apologize. But you still, I don't have no problem with that. I give you shit for a lot of stuff, but.
Oh yeah,
not that one.
So did your old man make you go to to the joint to visit your cousin as a way of like on some scared straight shit, or like what was that?
No, I've been to Scared Straight.
Wait, what the fuck did you just tell me?
That was on my 8th grade class trip.
Well, this is the podcast now.
Now it's the podcast.
Y'all spent all this time playing fucking goddamn Stephen A. Smith and
Well,
fucking
it's
Shannon
because you
Sharp.
have DNA of 12, and now we understand why.
Nigga, you 12. You have every drug familia.
Scared
Wait,
straight.
so
Your
you was
eighth
the-
grade. So you were like 12.
Wait, was it a class trip or like were
It was a
you
class
in?
trip.
So
It was a bad class.
that's what I was gonna say.
What
Was
the
it like
fuck?
were you like in an alternative type situation? Alternative
See, I just want
classes?
for the viewers to know I had like stories ready to go. These niggas
We're ready for 'em
spend
now.
First of
all
all,
the
shut the
shit.
fuck up,
I
and I'm giving you an
apologize.
opportunity to answer the question
I
now.
apologize
Here
on
you go.
behalf
He
of
ducking
my
'cause
co-host.
he's 12.
And for white people everywhere, I apologize. We're ready now.
So I had
I don't
a
apologize for shit. I asked the question when I felt like asking the motherfucker. You can answer it or not.
All right, well, I'll just apologize for myself then.
No, but no, but like, was it an alternative school or were you just like in a diversion type program?
So it was 8th grade class trip. So the whole year we was like acting up public school shit, right? So we had a teacher who she just hated us. She used to say
What the fuck?
she just I'm gonna be very real with you, like true story. She just did not like us. So she said a lot of like negative stuff.
Like her whole class and just kids and she just had that energy.
Yeah. Her name was Miss Mutter, so I'm just put that out there.
I ain't
But
gonna say her real name,
Fuck
but
you,
Miss
Miss
Mutter,
Mutter.
fuck you.
I don't know her first name. But
It's not Catherine.
you think it was Catherine
Nah,
Girl?
I'm just letting you know. Don't be calling.
Uh,
Catherine. She ain't had
I
nothing to
feel
do
like
with
I've just been nice this whole episode.
it. You have. That's why I said that. It wasn't
See,
you.
he shoot at every. See, Monk
I know.
got.
You're
Don't
not
do
gonna
that.
turn anybody
Stick to
against
your
me.
story about Miss
Stick to your
Mutter.
story, dog.
Please
You
Don't do
be-
it.
do Miss Mutter.
Don't do it.
Because we got to send a fuck you to Miss Mutter. Let's find out
That's
why.
what we trying to do, dog.
I know y'all make my ADHD act up. Y'all make my ADHD go crazy.
Accountability
I'm taking
is
accountability.
nothing. You just said we are responsible for your ADHD. Like I've known you your whole fucking goofy ass life. I didn't have shit to do with that shit, man. I ain't make you beat them kids up. I ain't because they called you nigga. I ain't make you do none of that
the
shit.
dick
dog.
riding Olympics ain't until 2027.
Wow. Why you gotta be riding dick? Because I
Kinda-
said
kinda
something.
waiting
here.
for
Yo,
you
you
to
should
fire
not
back
be
here.
doing this all the time while this nigga talking is crazy,
I like
dog.
to see you do that with
That's
your other arm.
cheerleading activity. Why you got this man? What are you doing?
Do that with your other arm.
Do it.
That shit still broke from when you beat his ass in the hallway.
No, you didn't.
Broke arm ass little boy.
Cripple ass motherfucker.
Monk, you could never. Like I fell running for the bus, dog.
So you went scared. You did scared straight.
This podcast is
You're working
trash.
on it.
Wow. How dare you?
That's crazy.
Because we couldn't even stay on the story for 2 seconds until y'all
I
get
asked you
acted
about
up.
Miss Mutters and you
I
didn't
asked him
ask.
about I asked him about the story too. Motherfucker got distracted. Started. Hey, y'all, I see. We coulda. You coulda just answered the question, dick face.
See, when you end sentences like that.
You still haven't learned after all this time not to let a little name get you thrown off your game. Didn't the white kids teach you anything?
That's gas. What is that gaslighting? Is that
That's
kinda-
not gaslighting. That's a
that gaslighting?
direct, straight line
That could
between
be
they called you a
gaslighting.
name, you got in trouble, you didn't
All right,
learn
I'm
not to
gonna
let
just
that
tell y'all
happen.
the story. I'm gonna just take control of this because this is weird.
Thank you.
This is just weird, dog.
upset?
So for our 8th grade class trip, my teacher hated us. Let me just redo the story because this shit got all
Miss
left.
Mutter.
Okay, so I had an 8th grade teacher, Miss Mutter. She wasn't really
I was saying fuck you, Miss Mutter. I was backing
yeah.
you up, see?
but
You just gotta look directly at me. That's the only way.
Or your
They're
camera.
gonna do. They're gonna.
This is what we do on our podcast. I don't know.
y'all do this every podcast episode.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, this is the format.
You would know if you watched it.
Okay, all right.
I'll let you have that one. Now, let's get back to the story.
All right, sorry.
Nah, but Miss Mutter, fuck her. Let's go.
All right, y'all ready? Okay, cool. So I had a 8th grade teacher, Miss Mutter. She wasn't real. She didn't really like us. We were acting up the whole year. So she had this idea. Usually, if you went to Chicago public school, your 8th grade class trip would probably be Springfield, right? So everybody go to Springfield, see like Abraham Lincoln's like house or whatever like that. Not my class. So our class, we went to Cook County Jail because she felt like we was that much of a problem. And it was told to us that we were doing something a little bit different. We knew we was going to Cook County, but it wasn't like we didn't know it was going to be the Beyond Scared Straight program of that. So we went straight into Cook County, and from what I remember, it's like a long hallway, and then where all the cells are, it's kind of like it's like a cafeteria at the bottom, and then the cells are kind of stacked up on top of each other.
Most of the divisions are like that, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I don't be in jail as much as you do, Kat.
No, I'm validated. Yes.
Yeah, but it's like so we was in there, and then we had like one of the COs came in. He told us that his finger got chopped off during like a lockdown, so he had like one finger, and he was like, "This is what happens," and then he started like showing us pictures of like the things that was going on. Mind you, I'm in 8th grade. Let me put this out there. I played. Yes, I was playing fucking Pokemon games back then. I'm not like the most gangster dude in the world, right? So
Like you are now.
yes, so
What I was
You
saying was a
agreed
gangster.
and went on. I was looking at you like, why do you agree with that? And keep going.
I was agreeing with you being gangster. I don't know what's happening now.
I didn't say I was a kid.
You agreed with him when he said
Immediately.
You immediately agreed.
Immediately, I would say like you are now. You were like, yeah.
And I was like, damn, you on some gangster shit. Okay.
All right. Okay.
He's like, how much time?
Yeah, I'm ready to go.
I gotta go back.
This
Hey, man, this is an amazing pod. You have fans on this podcast. I need you to know that you have podcast fans, people who want to know
yeah,
who
because
you
I
are.
put out like a spicy clip.
Nah, because I've talked about you on the pod multiple times.
Really?
I've said I've tried.
If
You
you
would know
fucking
that if you
watch
watch.
it,
I'm trying to tell. I've said very kind things about you.
I've seen
We
the only
mention
one
you
that
in a
I've seen.
complimentary way, like once an episode. So
I've seen
don't hit
one.
us with spicy clip.
Right, don't hit us with spicy clip because
Because
it's
the
every
only one
been
I
on your team
saw,
this whole
the only
time.
one I saw, he was like, it got like 10,000 views on Twitter, and he was just like, "Yo, fuck Jarrell." Which one was it? You know the one I'm talking about. It was like on Twitter, and it got like viral.
Was it the one where I was like, I don't like to roast people. I roast Jarrell.
Yeah.
Right,
yeah,
but
yeah,
if
yeah.
you had been watching the pod, after that, literally right after that, I was like, nah, I'm just fucking around. Jarrell is very funny, a very talented guy. He's a good writer. I said your whole name. See, that's what I'm saying. You motherfuckers just watch the headline, the lead. You don't read the fucking
Don't use
story.
me as
The
like
me-
don't
but
make
you are
me-
exactly a
No,
perfect
no,
example of
no,
that.
no,
You
it's
literally
not.
said, I
No,
just
it's
watched the
not.
clips. I never
No, it's
watched your
not.
whole
No,
show.
it's
You
not.
did say you don't watch
He just said that.
No,
Then
it's
you
not.
referenced the clip
That's
where you didn't see
gaslighting.
him
Now that's
show up.
gaslighting.
It's not gaslighting. I said the only one that I have saw, so I took accountability for not listening to the program.
Yeah, no,
You go from scared straight, running the streets.
Oh, I
fighting
didn't
on-
even finish
punching on
that.
white people
To
then
being a
you telling
comedian.
jokes at 16.
I didn't. Yeah. So we
That's pretty
basically.
That's actually pretty quick. Like. for
No,
that.
they
I'm
scared
sure
his
it's
ass straight
still-
into
yeah.
comedy. Scared him straight into the
Yeah, I
stand-up.
didn't.
How many kids were at the jail? Like how many?
It was my
of y'all
whole
did
8th grade
that?
class.
What,
Like
100%?
25, 30?
Yeah, so it got crazier. So then after he told us about the lockdown, how he cut his hand and showing us the pictures. The second part about it is because literally he was just like showing us around. Then he like threw lunch at one of my friends, and it was like this like container in plastic, and he was like, "That's what y'all got to eat." And you come in here and it just looked disgusting. And then the next step of that, which was probably the worst one, in my opinion, is he was like, "Okay, I want all of you guys to go into the cells. And you're going to sit here in this cell, and then we'll tell you to come out," right? So at this point, we're just like, okay. So I closed the cell, and I remember it smelled like roach spray.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah, you knew how roach spray smelled.
yeah, nigga, I come from the hood. Don't act
I'm
like
not-
bougie with me right now.
I'm not
nigga.
getting bougie so
Like,
that
why you
people
acting
understand
bougie?
your background, you silly fuck.
You just want to point out, yeah, you know the smell because
Man,
you
you-
might have had roaches
You
back in
wild
the day.
defensive today.
Wild defensive.
I am
bro.
right now. I am.
I understand coming from
Yeah.
where you, but you don't have to be.
Okay.
We care about
I'm gonna
you.
try to be vulnerable
Sincerely.
here.
Yeah,
Just
go ahead.
be,
We're not
you
going.
know.
One thing we won't do is take your vulnerability and turn it against you.
Okay.
Now, if you shoot, I'm firing the fuck back. But vulnerability, no. This is a safe space
You
for
all
that.
good, Mr. Monk. But so there was like, so it was like smell roach spray, and then I remember I saw like a milk in the toilet bowl, like the carton, like the real small one. So it was like a milk carton in the toilet, but it was closed up. It wasn't open or anything. And I was like, what the fuck is that? And so we were just standing in there, and we're all like, we're by ourselves. So I just see like bugs running around the cell or whatever like that. So I'm just like, I can't wait to get the fuck up out of here. And so when we did,
How long were you in a cell?
10, 15 minutes.
That feels.
What?
I'm gonna
That's
be
a
honest with
long
you.
time.
That
Feels like a long time.
It
That's
not
a
just
long
feels like a
time for a
long time.
child.
For a
It
child.
feels illegal.
Did they take y'all there
That-
with public school
I'm
money?
not, that's what I'm
Is
gonna
that
say.
some-
Yes.
I'm not trying to be funny.
Yes.
That feels a little bit like you're not charged with anything.
Yo.
They just locked you in a cell where you can't come or go.
Your guardian
That's-
signed a field trip.
That's what I was gonna
slip
say.
for
Did they
this?
find it? That's what happened.
wow.
They signed
No,
us.
because they couldn't
But
have known.
they couldn't have known that's what they were gonna do.
But they didn't
They probably
see
didn't
the
know they
see.
were gonna put you in a jail cell.
Exactly.
That's what I'm
Right.
saying.
Exactly.
That
I agree to
slip
that
could not have had the type of fucking
Yeah,
insurance
we gonna lock
clause
your
it
fucking
needs.
kids up in a
What?
jail cell
What
and
type
let
of
them.
communicable diseases is floating around that motherfucker? You telling me that you
Rats,
just sent my
roaches.
8-year-old baby?
Yeah.
Oh, now do you think the parents ever green would let that shit happen?
No, no. But so when we got out,
Shit.
there was
We got out. That's fucked up. Bro.
Yeah, I know, right?
That's not even
So-
language you're supposed to have at that age. Like, I ain't even trying to be funny now. Like at 13, what that does to you is tell you that the behavior that you have that the teacher thinks is fucked up. Not illegal, but just
Yeah.
you're on your way to prison because I don't like the way you behave in my class.
Yeah, it was.
That's
it was
fucking
It was
crazy.
super fucked up, and I don't think any of the parents really knew. Just double down. I don't think any of the parents. It was told to us in a different way.
Right.
It wasn't like, "Hey, this is beyond scared straight. We're gonna do all this to your kids or whatever like
Right.
that." Then nobody would have came. But
Right, because it's a voluntary shit.
yeah,
Like, nobody
yeah.
voluntarily went to prison.
so when we got out, they was like, "Hey, do you have any questions about this?" Basically. And we all kind of, it was funny because we all kind of came to the same question of like, why is this milk in the toilet bowl? And the guard said it so quickly, he was just like, oh, just to keep the milk cold. So you could drink it for later. So you take it out of the cafeteria, put it in the toilet bowl, and you can keep it for later type thing. So I was just like, that's
Disgusting.
weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a visceral memory, though. You know, like visual.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because 18 years later, that's one of like the biggest things that you remember from that.
Yeah, I remember that like it was yesterday. But
That's fucking
so then they let the inmates come in there, and then it was funny because one of my classmates knew one of the inmates that was in there. Swear to God, not even joking.
What up, John?
And so my
Which
teacher,
I'm sure, by the way, was against, like, because we're not allowed to teach if you know someone. They'd be like, that's not,
Yeah.
you're not supposed to be
Yeah.
on deck with someone like that.
yeah, so my teacher was like, "Snap, don't talk to them or whatever like that." And
Wait, your classmate was like, "Yo, what up?" To who
they was
knew?
like talking like straight up, like,
And your teacher was like, "Oh, I didn't think about this because it's fucking illegal.
yeah,
Let
yeah.
me pipe down." What?
So then they took us into the library. There was like a small library, but at that point, everything was after being in the cell. I just didn't really want to touch
Yeah, nothing else
anything.
matters.
Yeah, I didn't want to touch nothing. And so we were just sitting there, and then we were like walking through, and then that's when like the inmates was doing that like, "Oh, we'll just drag you in there. You could have been dead" thing. And so they did that shit to me.
I'm
Like,
sorry. Can
dog,
you
you
describe
ain't
what you
counting.
just said? What?
So sometimes it'd be on Scared Straight, the inmates would tell you like how it would be in prison. So sometimes they'll like snatch one of the kids and be like, "Hey,
Snatch you into their cell?
like into the like showers or something like that." And like, this is how
You saying it like you wild calm about this. Let me be clear. I was part of the Scared Straight program at one time. If we had put our hands on any one of them kids, that is granted, this is before the time that you're talking about.
TV,
Because
I
you're talking about
think, before
18
they
years
was-
ago. You talking about like 2006.
Yeah, this is before like the show and everything.
I'm talking about like 93, 94. They told if I put hands on one of them kids, I'm getting more time. It wasn't even like you could do this for show, just scare them a little bit. No, we knew back then you can't fucking put your hands on. And these kids aren't charged. You're not, bruh. I would have sued the fuck out of everybody and their mama. You
Yeah,
out your
Evergreen
rabbit ass
parents ain't
mom.
letting that shit happen, dog.
Ah,
No,
see?
the Evergreen, that wasn't Evergreen. That
No,
was,
but
No, that's what he's
saying,
saying.
though.
He's saying their parents would have let
Imagine
that shit
Oh,
happen.
yeah,
the
yeah.
The systemic ability, you know what I'm saying? Because parents just got lied to by the school. At
Yeah.
what point can you dupe parents into taking their children somewhere without their understanding?
Yeah,
Now,
it
if one of y'all would have got hurt, say they snatch you, your collarbone or some shit break, y'all fucking kids.
was kind of crazy.
What, like, and none of that falls on the teacher. It all falls on the district. It all falls on taxpaying dollars, and that's my biggest issue.
Yeah, and that was because like that was the first field trip where we were like watching the clock. I remember that like
You're like, yo,
A
it
field
ain't,
trip.
it ain't
Yeah.
time to get back on the bus yet.
yeah, like we were like very much like it's only like 9, like like we was,
That's fucking crazy.
like I remember like a lot of my classmates like looking at the clock. Or,
I'm gonna
like,
tell you-
Did they pull someone in the shower? Sorry, I know we started.
Yeah,
there, and then-
I got pulled into
You
the shower.
got pulled in.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
sorry. Circling back, I think I did drink that.
yeah. Getting everybody, look at you, getting everybody high.
No, so they pulled you. God.
Bro,
Yeah, yeah.
Let me tell you something. The problem I have with that is, as somebody who is actually locked up, none of the things that you're describing are things that are just show and tell type shit.
Mhm.
Like I remember going in the cell for the first time and hearing that clink clink. That sound sticks with you forever. I deserved it because I did. Well, we'll talk about that deserving of prison another time. But at least I was there because of something I did. Y'all were there because a teacher thought that your behavior was beyond the pale, but it wasn't so bad that you guys were getting suspended or expelled. So
I was getting
clearly,
suspended a little bit.
right? But I mean, if that's the punishment, the
Yeah.
punishment fits the crime at best, right? Like
Get
my
picked
son
up
even
by
talks
somebody in jail.
right.
Yeah,
My son talks about that all the time. I said something to him one day. I took his iPad for some shit he did, and he was like, "How is that consequence natural from what I did?"
Yeah.
You understand? Like my 8-year-olds, because we talk about natural consequences. Sometimes, like I can't take your iPad because you took too long doing blah blah blah. Because that's not in real life. That's not what happens when you do that. How the fuck do you teach a kid that if you act up in class, you go to prison? That's a fucking huge jump.
Unless it's prison to school pipeline.
Right, but that's the thing is to get your brain ready for that, right? So you have all of these stories already that you can tell about being in jail, even though it's for a brief time. Your mind is starting to get acclimated. I can handle it. I can take this. I'll be okay. No, because once you decide that you can handle being in jail, then that means you're willing to take bigger risks. Because what's the worst that can happen? I go to jail. I could survive. That's fucked up. Like I didn't know you was fucked up like that, dog. I ain't got no joke behind that. I like dead ass. If I had known you had got that bullshit happened to you at 13, I'd have said like way lighter jokes.
I mean, I don't really talk about it as much, but
That's fucked up to me.
no, it is fucked up. I said that in joking manners because I didn't think it was fucked up when it happened or when I was growing up, but when I around like 19 and 20, I would like have conversations with people. And I just drop it, and they'll be like, "What?
Motherfucker put you in the shower? What the fuck is going on?"
Yeah, and then people were like, "That's not normal." And I was like, "Oh, okay." So now I'm knowing that it's not. But sometimes that's what happens in certain situations.
I mean,
Sometimes
that
you
also
think
was
it's
our
normal.
upbringing, though, right?
Yeah.
Like that's part of the reason that we talk about. One of the other things we talk about in Beyond Bars is not just the carceral system as far as the justice system, but you talk about it from, and we've talked about this from parenting to schooling to your churches and synagogues and mosques, and how all of those things kind of lead you into this carceral mindset. Like everybody in this country wants to see people punished. We saw that in the last election where people were like, I'm willing to give up rights. I'm willing to give up my comfort so that I can punish the people I don't like. So much of that election was about making people that they don't like suffer, that they were willing to fuck Medicare. Fuck Social Security. I'll give those things up if it means we can push people back over the border and that those people over there that I don't like have less money, less food. That's fucking crazy to me. And so when your teacher's doing that, not juvenile justice system, if you would say, yeah, man, I got into that fight and they sent me to jail and it was a scared straight program, I still would have thought it was fucked up and heavy-handed. But for a teacher to do that?
This is their field trip as 8th grade, bro.
Right. When people tell me, why do you homeschool? This is the reason I homeschool, because I'll beat the fuck. I need y'all to know, if I ever send my kid to school and you do some shit like that, go ahead and call the people, because I'm coming the next day to fuck you up.
But Monk,
Fuck
it's
wrong with
bigger
you,
than just your kids, because she took the whole
She
graduating
took, right,
class.
that's what I'm
The
saying.
issue we have to look at is what you gonna do if it's your community, right? Because that's the next teachers, that's the next mayors, that's the next doctors, lawyers, etc. for our society. How in the hell can anybody feel comfortable understanding that their leaders of tomorrow are being treated in a manner like that, right? Like that's not normal for a functioning society.
You know how they can act like that? That group of kids was never considered to be the leaders of tomorrow. This is what the dehumanizing language is. This is what look at Chicago. That happens all over the country from people who've never fucking been to Chicago. Well, look at Chicago. You look at it, bitch. Mama. Come to Chicago and look at it. Don't tell me about Chicago if you haven't been to Chicago. Don't say what happens in Chicago if you live north of such and such and you never go out south or go out west. You don't know what the fuck is happening. You reading the reports. And the same way you call everything fake news, how come you read these fucking reports in the Tribune and in the Chicago Sun-Times and go, well, yeah, that's exactly what happens because I read it in the paper. You also read that Donald Trump was a racist in the paper, but you don't believe that. You also read that this happened to this person and you don't believe that. But if I tell you that this motherfucker lives in a violent neighborhood, he should get what he he's supposed to get. That's fucked up, and you need to be honest with yourself. It's not me. It's not victim. I'm still pissed off a little bit about that victim blaming statement. That you got a victim's mentality, because if my 13-year-old had got sent to jail because the teacher was on some you guys better learn now, they wouldn't have had a cell for me there.
Jarrell, you said that you started processing it around like 1920, right? But you started comedy earlier before that. Did any of this like influence that, or was it just like, was it in you, or was it a response? Do you know what I'm saying? I think comedy is like in all of it. I mean, but this is not my opinion.
I think at that time when I started comedy at 16, I was just in the neighborhood and I didn't really have any goals for myself prior to 16. and I started looking at like what the future may hold for me, right? And I used to be in this classroom, and then like this teacher would tell me like, "Hey, you know, you funny, you should do like stand up." It was a teacher that told me. His name was Mr. Baird, and I was like,
we do name the good people too.
"Yeah, no, he was a good guy. He was a good guy."
What's his name, Mr. Barrett?
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Mr. Barrett.
Fuck you, Miss Mother. But you cool, Mr. Barrett.
But nah, so because I didn't want to go to the lunchroom at lunch because I was in the white tee era in high school. So like,
I'm sorry, who?
The white tee era.
Describe that for the people who are not familiar with the culture.
So for okay, Kat. So
Wow.
she pointed at herself.
That's
She
fair.
pointed at
I got a white tee on. I was just talking shit. Cat took
Okay,
it.
once again, to be clear,
He so high,
do
he ain't never
know-
left. He didn't-
Catherine said, I actually
Yeah.
know, but I'll take this one.
No, what I'm saying once again is I do know that I'm not like.
Oh, that's
I'm
fair.
not,
She was like, I am outside the
pretending to
culture.
be,
I
like,
don't
yeah.
know.
So the white
Okay,
tee
so-
era, we used to wear like 4X, 5X white tees. It was like fashionable. Like,
And
well,
they-
basically what's
and they really
fashionable
wore
now.
a size medium.
What Billie Eilish is wearing is what we used to wear.
That was an all-white tee.
Billie
It was all white.
Eilish dressed like Ludacris in 05.
She
Girl,
really did.
She really did.
Long
she really
FUBU
did.
jerseys. It was
really did.
crazy.
She be looking like Chingy on some days, boy.
Aw.
She damn sure looked like she lean with it and rock with it though.
But
I fucks with it.
but that's how I used to dress. But I didn't want to go to the lunchroom because they would have like these massive food fights.
You don't fuck up
So
your white
like
tees.
if you throw like a ketchup. At one time I was there, a ketchup packet hit me, so I had this stupid red stain the whole day. So I didn't really like it. So sometimes you can go into like if a teacher was cool, you could be in the classroom, just chill for like 30 minutes, go to you know what I mean. So I used to goof off and I used to roast and stuff like that with my friends, and the teacher just thought like I was funny. I don't know what propelled him to tell me to do that to this day. And
Because he's a teacher. Honestly, that's what good teachers do is they recognize the good qualities about their students and they try to bring them out of them, knowing that not every
The
single
funny-
one of them is the same.
Yeah.
That's the funny part is
Right? Like
that
a
it
good
was
teacher,
odd to
yeah,
you
knew.
that somebody did that.
oh yeah, because at the time I didn't really have any adults that I mean except my family, but
Unrelated to that part. I apologize
for what?
for being an asshole to you because we roast,
Hmm?
but you said something to me that made me think about the story you just told. There are people who are absolutely safe from me roasting them. And most of it is because I acknowledge that everybody has trauma, but some people have different trauma and you have to be aware of that. And I think especially because there's like not a power differential between the two of us, but there's a big age jump. And so when I roast you, it's not as one of your homies. It's an older dude that fucks with you and you like, this is my homie. And so it's different when I fuck. Not saying like, oh, you look up to me, I shouldn't be fucking with, but dead ass, like the stuff that you, and I shouldn't need you to tell me that for me to be like, oh man, I'm being hard on this motherfucker. But true story, like I'm upset. I'm over here in my feelings about that shit because I know what my daughter went through in her teen years in school. And I'm literally protecting my son from going through that. And it's expensive and it's hard and I don't know how to homeschool sometimes and I fail sometimes. My son happens to be bright, so it's a little easier. But I literally am not sending my kid to school because if that happened to my kid, I wouldn't be able to handle it.
Yeah.
What you're telling me is something that we don't get enough help for. You don't go to therapy at 13, 14.
No.
You just start realizing what happened to you at 18, 19,
That's why
20.
I asked with the comedy if you're aware of
Right.
how long, like,
And so when I'm roasting you, I want you to understand that.
Well, you know it's
I know
not
you don't care, but we all care. Like we do that tough thing. I don't really. This shit bothers everybody. That's why we roast. We don't roast people because I could just as easily come in and be like, hey man, that's a nice shirt. If we talk about building community, like we all in community with each other, we know it don't mean nothing. Then why do we do it?
Right.
And so, yeah, that's part of our culture. We roast. That's part of the culture. But also, there are times when, particularly for me, and I've said this on the podcast before, I take accountability for that. There are times when I go too far because that's how I learned how to roast. My father roasted me. My uncles roasted me. And they roasted me because they were trying to see if they could make me cry. And so I got tougher skin, and my brain goes, well, everybody must have been raised like that. And they weren't. And even the ones who were, like, nobody wants that shit all the time. Like, I'm trying to see how close I can get to get you
Jarrell
mad.
came in prepared with stories.
He did.
We were
And I was like, fuck Jarrell. Right. I was like, fuck Jarrell.
He
came
30
in.
minutes, nigga. Like.
Right, but here's the thing.
I was like,
Because
I
of
thought I was
I've
doing
roast
something.
because we've gone back and forth so often, the first thing you did when you came in is, why you looking at me like that? Because you are already on the defense when you see me. So the number of times that I've walked in and you started, but the reason you started is because you know whenever I go, it's going. Whenever I go, it's going. So you like, let me get my shot in right now. That's smart for you, but that's fucked up for me that I got you in that place where every time we see each other, there's got to be conflict, and it doesn't need to be. I apologize. I'm looking at you. I'm saying it on the pod, so it's a record of that, because that's fucked up.
You know it's all love, man.
You sure?
I don't know it's all love.
Because if it ain't, we can go outside and
All right.
cameras off.
Cut.
No, but I think that's I applaud that because that is a relic of slavery, right? What happened
We was
was
roasting in slavery? I don't know.
That's
but
crazy.
The innate
Cook niggas
action
in
to
slavery.
just devalue you, right? So
That's
what
fair.
happened was they
Yeah.
actually used to devalue each other because they didn't want the slave master to sell them.
Yeah.
So they say, master, you don't want this boy. He got,
Oh, lumpy head, man.
He a bad boy, right? You know, this big back little boy. You don't want him. He a lazy
Hey, man.
one.
I don't know if
So-
that's true or not, but that shit is that
but
makes sense.
It aged over time, right? Because now you got parents and parental figures regularly roasting the child in front of people to devalue them in hopes of keeping them, right? So I love you, so I'm going to devalue you in public so that people don't move you away from me. So it's something that morphed over time, but that's one of the shitty things that we have to do as a people, right? And so I appreciate y'all having that conversation because without us having those real vulnerable moments, Monk never understands that y'all have so much
Y'all
in
a bully.
similarity. I wasn't going to drop the B
That's
word.
fine. I can hold it.
That's
I know
cool.
I have bully tendencies, and usually my bullying is for people who bully. But
Also
that was
beautiful,
me.
and also, I mean, Jarrell did come prepared. He's got. I feel like you have other stories.
Like you read this, you read the email.
Yeah.
You read the
And
email
thank you.
for real?
By the way, thank you for reading the fucking email.
We send them every
I'm
week.
so
No
mad at
one
you guys.
reads
He
them.
read the email. He came prepared.
I read the email too, but I fucked Jarrell. But you know what I'm saying? But
Also-
we passed that now.
I was-
I'm just saying,
I don't
when I
even need to
came
do it.
in, my default setting is fuck Jarrell,
I
and
also-
I might have to adjust my default. That's all.
to your point, by the way, I that was like still felt like that was like pretty beautiful.
Yeah, I
No,
mean,
I'm dead ass
but-
was emotional. I don't know.
yeah,
I, took my
I
headphones.
was feeling it.
I ain't like that shit. I don't
was
like that
like-
shit. I joke you all day long, but like I don't like. Don't mistreat children. Don't devalue children. Is one of the reasons that I feel the way I feel about what's happening in Israel and Gaza. Like they're acting like what's happening to the kids doesn't matter. And I've seen it happen to our kids way too fucking much. Like our kids are too big. Tamir Rice is too big. Trayvon Martin is too grown. Our kids don't get to be kids. And if you're taking 13-year-olds who haven't even made it to high school yet and taking them to jail because their behavior is so far beyond the pale, they're not murdering, stabbing, shooting. You're not in class fucking telling the teacher suck your dick and slapping the shit. No, this is kids acting up. You haven't checked to see what's going on with them at home. You haven't checked to see what the situation is. Do they have ADHD? Are they eating the right shit? You're not checking any of that. Just fuck your kids. You need to go to jail so you learn what happens is the end of that behavior. And that happens because our kids too often aren't seen as real people who have futures.
It's not a lot of
ain't
conversation
all right.
within it. I don't want this to be a clip on Instagram.
It is.
We could leave.
It's gonna be a clip.
Okay, I ain't gonna
But
say
it's
that. I don't want it to.
But
say
not
I
that.
think I think the valuable part of that clip, and y'all let me know, but I thought was Kyrie talking about the.
No, what I'm about to
historical,
say, I don't want to turn into.
Oh,
a clip.
okay, then we won't. Yeah, whatever.
But what maybe because at school when I found out I was gonna do comedy, that was like my second school. My first school I went to from like my freshman to sophomore year. I just got into with some wrong people, and I just thought I was like really tough. I just at some point in like you in a neighborhood, you kind of feel like this sense of like I have to conquer it all, or at least find some type of stability in it. And for me, I wasn't really like the other kids, or at least what I thought at the time. I knew I was a little different, but I couldn't.
How did you feel different?
Because I wasn't ready to die for it.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't.
ask because I think a lot of times that people see what's happening and they think that they can emulate what's happening, right? I see this in the suburbs a lot. I'm tough too. You think just come in the suburbs, I'm pussy? No, I think because you're in the suburbs, you have other options. And that what happens is we think the culture is the violent part. We think the culture is the coming up tough part. The culture is the fighting part, and that's not the culture. The reason that those things happen in the culture is because so much of the culture is experiencing this type of lack of resources. This type, right? And just because, but even then, even if you have lack of resources, that doesn't make you a killer. Doesn't make you a gangbanger. Doesn't make you a drug dealer, right?
But you face with those.
But you face with
you
have
where
to make
like
that
I
decision.
might have to run it to those decisions.
You have to make
And
that decision.
I felt different because I was like, I'm not built for that. You know what I mean? But at the same time, it's not like something you could just like, I'm not built for that, so I'm going to, you know what I mean? I'm already in it, and I'm already cool with some people. And
I was trying to quiet it. That's what made me turn it on. I was trying to shut
what
it
type of
Isn't that
music
Hawaiian porn?
is no.
Hawaiian porn is crazy.
No, it was actually a clip of all the shows I had done with all the people, and some of them with you. But wow, Hawaiian porn. You know how your phone sends you the look at this
album.
movie flashback, and that happened to be the music that went with it, and
It's a lot more wholesome than what I thought.
way more wholesome.
Yeah,
but
well,
usually,
I mean,
usually,
Because they had the grass skirts on and all that in my head.
you really finna drink all that? That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
no, we weren't joking. He's usually
Oh, by the time people realize what they was watching, it'll be far too late.
How much weed you smoke a day?
We're not gonna talk about that on this pod until we get
That's a fair
a really
Sponsor.
cool sponsor
Yeah.
that believes that we're doing great work.
so we're gonna cut the first 20 minutes of this pod out
Fucking
and go straight to Jarrell's stories.
Yeah.
Because clearly there was
Wait,
a
which you were
miscommunication.
again in the middle of one.
Oh
Yes.
yeah.
High school.
Yeah. So I was in high school. So my first school, which put me on a path to comedy. So yeah, I was around with some bad people, whatever, like that. And I'm really cutting a lot of stuff out of this story. But some people we wasn't cool with was looking for me, and I didn't know. And I was with this guy that I thought was my friend at the time, and I'm like walking down a certain street, and I looked to my left at this J&J chicken. It was like 20, 30 people that didn't pretty much care for me.
Oh.
And so they like, I was like, you just walk straight, you know what I mean? Just try to act like you're not who you are. And
Jarrell.
at least that's,
I'm Johnny. Who's Jarrell? Do we look alike?
Again, I don't want this to be a clip. You put it on a pod though, but
Yeah, whatever you want. I'm serious.
I'm,
Yeah.
I'm clipping the fuck out of it. I don't know what are you talking about.
yeah. So basically, they knew it was me, right? So they crossed the street. My friend books it and runs it on me.
So it was you with a homie, and your homie left you.
Homie said, "Listen,
I don't know
man."
if homie's the word, right? But
He was, but then he made a executive decision. He was like, "It's either
He made
two
a
on."
business decision.
Yeah, he was like, "I can't fight 15 people. You're gonna have to fight."
but
the 30.
we both had the same problems.
Oh.
You know what I mean? It's just that he chose.
He was like, "Fuck it." Did you,
Mhm.
could you not? I'm not trying to be funny, but like when he ran.
No, by the
you
time
ain't
he
thi-
ran, it was already closed up.
Oh, they was already. He just was close enough to the outside. Too.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Me and some other stuff but
Wow.
But yeah, so they banged me up pretty bad, and it went on for a very long time.
How old
It's
were
like
you?
a
This is your
long
freshman? You
ass
said?
I was like 14.
Wow.
And it was really bad, and I remember this one girl was like yelling like yeah killing them whatever. And
Shit.
I remember seeing a cop car drive past me.
Police don't do shit in the hood, Joe.
Drive past me, and
They
so
didn't
it
stop it.
so it still kept going, and then this old dude comes up. This is really the craziest part. This old dude, he breaks it up, and he's just like, get off. And I'm kind of like woozy seeing it all happen. And he looks at me, but he looks disappointed. And he tells me, like, get in the car. And I get in the car. I remember he had, like, a cigarette on the ashtray or whatever like that. And he's like, where do you live or whatever? And I'll just tell him, like, 2 blocks over here. And he was like, I thought you was my son because he light-skinned like you. And so I was just like, well, nah, I just want to just take you home or whatever like that. And long story short, I had to go to the hospital because it was like a bone popped out of my hand or whatever like that. And the doctor said I had a concussion. So if I was still getting jumped to that manner, I wouldn't be here today.
If dude hadn't broke it up,
If he didn't break
that
it
man
up.
saved your life because he thought you was his little light skinned boy.
So my mom is like on some like real spiritual stuff.
Mhm.
And she's just like, you know,
God
you got to
another
do
chance.
something with this chance that you was given, because you could have been like a statistic. Because you know, that same year, somebody at this school called Finger, he died in the same manner. So so when I switched schools and I saw that was a means of an opportunity, so yeah, so that's for me when I do comedy and stuff like that. I've never really like in a sense of like competing with niggas or like have ego with it or feel like, you know, some sense of, you know, need to be top dog. I'm just appreciative of the art, and I just love just making stuff. And like that's the true purpose of like why I do comedy.
What kind of stuff is your favorite? Because I know you do a little bit of everything. And I've talked about this on the podcast several times about Jarrell.
I really am going to send you a timestamp.
Just all the clips where I'll be like, yo, Jarrell's a great writer.
Nicer to you than we were at the start. I
How
mean,
the fuck does Jarrell get this all-star fucking hodgepodge clip?
All jokes aside, I sincerely, when I met Jarrell, he was part of a collective, and it was something I was like, yo, that's fucking crazy. And they
Can
were
we
doing,
say the name of the collective? Because I think that was
well,
worthy.
I don't want to say the name
We
of the
can't?
collective
Okay.
because the white people going to be like, oh, they thought they was, you know, I don't want to do that.
Okay.
No, I'm kidding. It was the MLKs of Comedy. And
Pretty dope group.
but everybody in the collective both did stand up and they did sketch acting. But a lot of the sketches that were written by Jarrell. And I remember at the time being super impressed because you were super young. Like all of y'all were really young, but to me, like being that young and having that being that well-rounded, you were doing sketch, you were doing a little improv, you were doing stand up, and I remember thinking he's gonna be fucking amazing by the time, you know what I mean, he's my age, which I was already old as fuck. But what of all of the things that you're involved in, acting, writing, stand up, improv, what's your favorite?
I was writing. I like being able to take a comic or a character and just making them, you know, be funny in different ways. Stand up is to me is the main form of expression because it's just you on stage. But to utilize like a good cast is pretty phenomenal. When you talk about Martin, like it takes these people doing these certain things in this manner to be able. It's kind of like playing like chess with the audience almost, you know.
building a world.
Just building a world, you know, and just having these like moments that you'll take forever. That's
you can make more iconic moments with sketch with writing than you can because you can play off of like there's a limit to how funny I can be.
Yeah.
But there's less of a limit if all four of us are boom, 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 playing to our strengths.
Yeah, like the whole purpose of when I did that with the group or whatever was just because of how I saw other institutions were just kind of. We just need to write about like, you know, we're at dinner or like, oh, my dog is weird and stuff like that. And
My dog.
Like
weird.
when I know dog joke, you like, yo, how about these jokes?
you know, and I grew up off of like my dad was really into like Robert Townsend and Keenan
Chicago
Wayans,
goat.
you know, and you know,
New York goat.
When my dad realized I did comedy, he showed me Hollywood Shuffle was one of the big
Amazing
movies.
writing.
And I was like really inspired
With a
by
bunch
that.
of sketches.
With a bunch of sketches, yeah. So I was very much, you know, when I was in those institutions, I'd be like, well, these are the things that I think are cool, and they were, you know, but they have a different, which is respectfully, yeah, everybody's funny, but like these are things that like if you make me geek out, I could geek out a lot about Robert Townsend and what he did, and like there wasn't any black superheroes, but there was Meteor Man, you know what I mean, and you know like
Golden Lords.
you know what I mean,
and Luther Vandross.
Like that was.
You're not gonna have Luther Vandross.
Oh, you gotta be so raw to do this shit to pull that off,
bro. You know, you didn't have any black superheroes, but you had Blink Man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
You had Keenan with the little
Keenan.
Yeah.
I mean, Damon.
Damon.
What was the robot
Damon.
name? What was it?
J5.
J5.
Yeah, J5. Yeah. So those are like the stuff I grew up on, and I thought that was like really, really cool, and just being able. And these weren't just movies where it was just like, you know, these were black movies without having to say I'm black 70 times in the thing. You know what I mean?
That's also really dope though that your dad, when you said you were gonna do stand up, or when you started doing comedy, didn't go, yeah, but also make sure that you da 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 da. He was like, oh, word, you need to see this then.
Yeah.
Because so many people, especially at that age, after 15, 16, you talking about I'm gonna do comedy. I'd have looked, you know what I mean? I would have got cussed out. Fuck out of here. You going to college, you gonna be an engineer, you wanna do your little side. My mom still to this day says I wouldn't join the circus. I've been on TV a shit ton of times, been in a bunch of movies. I tour. She don't give a fuck.
I just think they were just glad that I had like when you find like a purpose that you truly believe in, it's not anything you can say verbal, but it's something that you exude. And I think they felt that.
Your past, like with the violence, do you think that they were like just happy that you were doing something that was likely not going to lead to more of that?
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. Because I didn't really have, like I said, I really didn't have like that many goals. I feel like my life started when I started comedy.
Ooh.
So it was
Let's talk about it saving our life. I don't think I've heard comedy started my life. That's a good
like,
one.
That's some deep ass shit.
Because I don't associate any like, oh my God,
I had some other goals and dreams. It was always this.
Like the first time like I went on a date, I did a show afterwards. Like you know what I mean? Like
I gotta take all this shit.
Well, you just hit on some shit that like a lot of people can't understand when I talk to them, because I'm 33 and my 10th year is now. So I started when I was in my early 20s. So like, a lot of the shit that my peers got, or that they goals are rooted around, or they memories, I don't have. Like when people was doing a lot of shit, going on trips and shit, I wasn't doing it. I was trying to make comedy work. So I understand exactly what you mean when you like, man, it's so heavily embedded in my memories and my core values and shit. It's like I don't know how to separate it sometimes.
And I admire y'all for that, because it's like, for me, I started at way old. I started doing stand up when I was older than both of you are now. I was 38 the first time I stepped on the stage. So I had a whole lifetime of successes and failures. But as you know now, like if you had 10 straight amazing sets and one bomb, which one are you going to remember for the next 10 years?
Bomb.
Right.
That bomb forever.
So every success I had, cool. But the failures stuck with me, because the failures for some reason felt like they were personal. And I go back to like the way we're parented has a lot to do with how we feel about ourselves. Because if you do good things and you get that's what you're supposed to do, but then you do something that's not good, and it's, see what the fuck is wrong with you. The disparity in how you will respond it to sticks with you too. That's a core memory, right? And even my son is, and I talk about my kids a lot because my kids remind me of how I was raised. They remind me of the things that were good and the things that weren't. And my son is very comfortable telling me when he doesn't like something. He's very comfortable telling me like, yo, when you do this, it makes me feel this way. And the reason that's important to me is because that feeling is going to stick with him way longer than any words I said.
Yeah, yeah.
And so when those things happen, right, when you're 16 years old and you say, I'm going to do comedy, and your dad goes, here, Robert Townsend, Keenan Ivory Wayans, look at these movies. Look at what they do. Look at what you're capable of.
Yeah.
That's a different kind of inspiration, right? Like that's a whole different thing than, you going to join the circus, you fuck. And I don't think all parents realize that. I think they go, I'm doing what's best for you, and you're going to appreciate it when you get older. But they don't realize that by the time you get to the point where you can appreciate it, you fucked up 15, 20 years because you think you suck because your goals aren't in line with what your parents want for you.
Yeah.
And that, I'm proud of y'all, but I really do. Like, there's a certain amount of envy where I'm like, damn, I wish I had started when I was younger, because I had more shit to say. I became more conservative as I got older. Not conservative, but as far as what I'm willing to say and not say on stage.
It's a different type. Because when I was like 16 to 18, it was definitely a sense of, because I was saying a lot of stuff I wasn't supposed to say on that stage, especially coming from the South Side. So I would do a lot of shows that was like a little different. But so like it took a second to
if you know, you know.
To like different crowds, I had to, because the only place, it was a place called Barrels of Laughs that was like in Oak Park I used to go to. So it would take this long ass pace bus just to get there. My mom used to come in and pick me up. So and so when I was there, it was like Mike Palisak was just starting out, Jay Washington, Rodney Lumpkins. We used to be at that club a lot. So those like the people I used to see.
That's funny. I was just with Rodney over the weekend.
Yeah. So like I would just
Big J. Shout out to Big J out in LA.
So like, but they would just like, the people I'd be around, but I was like 16, so it's like I didn't really like talk.
You couldn't hang around. You couldn't go with them after the show.
Yeah. No, you could barely be in the show. His ass is talent only.
Listen,
Yeah.
he can be here by the stage. You do your set, and you get the fuck out of here, kid.
The first time I smoked weed was in the parking lot of that.
Hey man, hey.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry.
It was over 10 years.
Sorry.
What's the rules on that? Let's get the rules before we start messing on crime again.
Hey.
Shit.
I bombed that set so bad.
Oh, you smoked before?
Yeah.
Oh,
he
you didn't
was
know nobody. Yeah,
tripping.
yeah.
Really
You was on stage.
tripping.
It was a I can't even say his name, but it was a comic. He was like in a van, and I was like outside, and I was like cold because they didn't open up yet. He was like, "Come in," and then they had like a bowl.
Yeah.
And I just felt like, I'm with the adults. Okay, whatever.
Aw.
And I smoked the bowl, and I was just sitting
Hey,
there.
man,
Like,
say his name off. Tell me his name off camera. I'm going to whoop his ass. Man, you be giving fucking
I
children
tell
weed, you
comedians all the
asshole.
time to be better role models.
Be better role models.
it was another time a dude gave me moonshine, and then one of the dudes was like, "You can't be drunk in here." Like, he was like, "I'll never put you up."
Wait. How old were you when you got the moonshine? It's we passed that. We're past
I was
the-
17.
Who the fuck would give a 17-year-old moonshine?
Who the fuck got moonshine?
It was moonshine.
There's a lot of people from Alabama and Mississippi in
But
this.
Chicago?
Yeah,
you
I'm
rolling
saying.
around Chicago with moonshine?
I'm telling you.
Giving it to teenagers?
Now, giving it to teenagers
Don't go to
part.
jail, go to hell.
But they had it in the back of the bar. Like, they was just like, because it was a drunk dude. He was just like, "Oh, you was funny. He's like, "Yeah, moonshine." I was just like, "Okay." And then I just took the shot, and I was just like, "Whoa." And then my mom, but I got scared because my mom was picking me up.
Listen.
And that moonshine.
There's
you
something
drunk all
about
night.
being a
Boy,
parent.
I was sitting there like,
There's something about being a parent that when you smell the alcohol, you like, this motherfucker. But you also, because you've had drinks before, you know you can't have this conversation right now.
yeah.
You know what I'm
Actually,
saying?
man, my mom actually listens. Mom, I ain't drink shit.
She knew. I promise you she knew. I'm going to tell you,
Wait.
this is how I know she knew. My
She be
daughter,
listening to my podcast.
my daughter at 13, 14, she's been 13. She went to her the 8th grade senior dance or whatever, the 8th grade dance, right? The end of the, and this was like, her school did it up. Like they did gowns, ball gowns, the dudes got dressed up. And her mom dropped her off. I went and took pictures with her beforehand. And then they were like, all right, we all going, we leaving. And she texted me like 10 minutes before the thing is over. She's like, can I come stay there tonight? I'm like, yeah, of course. Pulls up, walks straight upstairs and goes, I'm so tired, and goes straight to her room. I'm watching my child walk. It's not walking straight. I'm looking like, yo. She walks by, I look at my wife and goes, she drunk as shit, ain't she? She was like, yeah, she drunk as shit. She never got even within distance of me to smell her. I just watched her walk by. I waited 3 days later and I went, who spiked the punch? And she said, huh? I said, at the party, who was it to spike the punch? Do you know, or did you just had someone accident? She was like, oh, nah, I knew, huh? And I was like, yeah. That's how you catch. The best way to catch them is you don't ask while it's happening. You ask at a time later. But I let it. I was 13 before 14. You know what I mean? I've been.
Yeah.
So what I'm gonna do? What the fuck is
Nigga
wrong
like
with you?
Batman as a daddy. What
Yeah.
the fuck wrong with his
Who's the one that spiked it? Was it you? Was it you or was it one of your friends? I'm only gonna ask once. I'm only gonna ask one time.
Dwayne man.
She in the basement, bats flying. So you're awake. Glad to see you. Now about this punch. Who spiked the punch? Was it you or was it?
That's how
it was
it be.
Bonnie, wasn't it? I fucking hate that Bonnie.
Because that's how it was. You try to run to the room. That was the trick. You get fucked up and you run to
You
the
can't
room.
run. You drunk, son.
Yeah.
You stumbling, mumbling, bumbling.
But a lot of that shit kept me out of trouble because, like, if I would fuck up, I couldn't do comedy, and I always wanted to do comedy. So
But
I would
quick-
get out of there.
You've done a lot though, and I say this because I've been part of like larger groups that have gone on to do, like I did a show in DC, and even better at Second City. There's a picture of like a bunch of people after one of those Afrofuturism shows we used to do.
Mm-hmm. I remember that.
That was lit
Say
back
it's
in that.
12 people in the show. 8 of them have gone on to do like very
Amazing stuff.
big public facing, you know what I mean? And sometimes I look at that picture and I'm in it, but like there's varying degrees of success in that picture.
Ooh,
and I
he
like
getting deep.
No, let's talk about it
like
because this
that.
is something that happens in comedy a lot because we all start out together, right? We all start out with a group of, we have like, I call it my class. My class
Like a graduating class.
Right, my class started this year or around these years, and some of them have, and some of them are still doing open mics, right? And then there's all types of levels in between. Some are openers, some are headliners, some have done TV, some fucking hate TV. How do you like remain with the MLKs? Like, how do you guys remain in contact with each other, and how do are the friendships ever affected by like the variant? Because I know like Denny's on this and Aaron is on that, and you know what I mean, like oh man, Joel Boyd is on this, and you're writing for these things, and this person is doing it. Like, do you guys have a competition type that you feel like, yo, we're against each other, or you guys just like, yo, when you see each other, it's still like it was when y'all was dressing up for pictures and shit?
I mean, our goal isn't to be.
Oh, those pictures was fucking nice. I like that shit. The skinny tie shits, I fuck with them pictures.
I mean, I don't think the goal is to outdo one another. You know what I mean? I don't think the goal is, if that's the goal for for other friendships,
Right.
That's how that works. But I mean,
But y'all were legitimately like friends.
Yeah,
it
we're
wasn't
friends.
like we're gonna put this together
Yeah.
as a.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, everybody got their own journey. When we start to become comparative is when you start hating the journey that you're on.
Absolutely.
So it's like, you know what I mean? Like, you matter. Everybody matters to somebody. You
That's
know what
the
I mean?
clip right there.
So
See, that's the clip, Jarrell.
I guess so.
That's a good clip, though. No, I think that beyond even comedy, with friend groups, this happens a lot where we don't realize we're not a friend group. We're a group of people who are doing the same thing, but I'm actually in competition with you.
We all doing the same job. You know what I mean? And it's just like in different ways that they do it. That's great, and you should support and definitely do that. But I mean, the thing with comedy in the industry, everybody gets the ball. But when we become like, give it to me right now, is when it's just like you can't even enjoy the moment you win because you just want to hold the ball.
How do you handle that part though? Because, and we've talked about this too, there's like varying degrees of success, right? And so sometimes when you're in it because you have a goal, you can be doing something that previous you would have considered a super success, but you can't enjoy it because you think you should be here or you want to be here. You might not even feel like you deserve more, but you're so focused on your future goal that you're not enjoying the now goal. How do you like handle that part?
You just have to understand that the first part is you just have to love the process of everything. If I enjoy doing stand-up, I'm happy about that, right? I understand we want to do bigger shows and we want to be able to take that big Instagram picture and be like, fuck you to my haters or whatever like that. But like, let's be honest, let's be real. Like, that's what happens.
All my haters.
It's like, oh, I'm here, you're not here. Like, and like that's how, when you look through
Holla
Instagram.
at me when you want fucking theater, son.
You know what I mean? And then other people look at it like, oh, I'm not doing good in life because he got like 1,000 likes. You know what I mean? I hear people tell me this all the time. Like, when people open up, they'll be like, man, every time I look at Instagram, I'm just seeing the shit that I'm not doing. They tell me this. And it's like,
I
that's
stopped
not.
watching stories. Like, I'm better at like dropping back in. Sorry not to interrupt you. I just because I was like, I don't like the way that I'm responding to this.
Yeah, I can't even
maybe
enjoy
some
it.
people have better control, but I do not have the kind of control.
I can't even, because the thing is, like, I want everybody. If you have the sense of it, you truly feel that way, you secure with what you are and what you do.
You want everybody to win.
Yeah, and it's like, if he do fucking, the biggest show in the world, I'm not gonna be sitting here like, oh my god, like what that mean for me, because I'm taking away from his moment.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
but
I
it is
can't.
what that media is designed to do.
Which is
to
designed
make
to
us feel
do.
that way
Yeah.
because feeling that way is addictive.
Yeah.
Well, isn't that why Australia? One of the reasons that Australia outlawed it for kids under a particular age.
Yeah.
But and like we got exposed to it. I think too young, Facebook, whatever. But like, I mean, we're still, at least for me anyway, like still. But can you imagine?
You know what
12?
I think is interesting, because a lot of people from my generation do that weird thing where they like, if you getting bullied online, just get offline. And they don't understand that your brains have been wired. My youngest is 8. He's never not known what an iPad was. He's never not known what YouTube was. They had YouTube Kids that led to YouTube. Like, he's always been habitually online, right? Now, he doesn't have social media because he's 8. But what does that do to your brain that you see kids your age who have big multimedia empires on YouTube, right? Lil Ryan is worth millions of dollars, and my kid's looking like, I'm cooler than Ryan. Why the fuck I can't have a camera in my face, right?
And Kai is still a teenager? Kai Center is already 21?
Kai might be 21 now.
I think the best was on Blonde, Frank Ocean's album. There was like this small skit of this, was a French dude talking, but he was basically saying he was in this relationship with this girl, and she wanted to friend him on Facebook. And he was true. They both was in love with each other, but she just friended him on Facebook. And he was like, I don't really use it. She was like, but no, friend me on Facebook. And he was just like, no, I don't use it. And she broke up with him. And he was saying that she was like crazy. He's like, the love that we shared is real
enough.
The love we shared in the physical form is real.
But you want
But because I don't do something virtually meant something that strongly to you. And I think that's where we're at today. So when I look on Instagram, I'm looking at you as the person. You know what I mean? So your story is important. Your story is important. Your story is important. And you should be able to, you should be like, and I detract that from like Instagram, because the thing is like, my happiness is something I got to find within myself. And like the people that believe in me and truly think that I'm funny, or the things that I create, or the things that I put out, that's more important, because that's what we're in the business. We're in the business of sharing laughs. We're not in like basketball where I got to put up 20 more points than Kyrie. You know what I mean? Because that's not the game. Because if I do,
way to feel about it.
yeah. Because if I do,
Yo,
and
your
if
therapy be working. Who should slide me their card after this shit? That shit is effective than a motherfucker.
because the thing is, like, if I'm like, oh, I did 20 more points than Kyrie, what do I get? What do I get? Him feeling bad?
I mean, sometimes I do shit just to make Kyrie feel.
I mean, yeah. Well, I mean, but at the end of it, but like after the next day, it's like,
yeah, that's like the ass eating thing you said earlier. There was no problem, right?
I have strong assumptions. I'm not gonna say.
It's a perfect circle. We do. I mean,
No, it's not a perfect fucking circle. He came here on bullshit. Fuck y'all.
we do.
Why is it perfect circle when I'm the butt of it?
That's why.
Get it the butt.
there was
You got the butt because no, I got it. It was eating ass, the
pretty
butt,
good, pretty
boom,
good.
boom.
It's only because I think cameras are done.
Oh yeah.
Because we were fucking around for so long. Just one of them. Okay, it's just one of them. But Joe, my point is, I wanted to come back to both like stuff that you're working on and that ways in which people can like support you, follow you, that kind of thing. Because obviously we'll have you back for the rest of your stories because we've fucked around for so long.
Now your stories, though.
And because we
Dumbass
love you,
stories.
and because you're brilliant, and we love.
But we do
talking
love
to
you.
Yeah.
Dumbass
Just
stories.
follow my YouTube page, Jarrell Scott Barnes. I got a lot of content coming up there, and I got a short film that is going to be released towards the 2025. Should be in the fall is when it drops.
You did a film without me?
I was gonna hit you up, nigga. But
That's what's up.
but I got a short film that be coming out. And we got like
Beat his ass when this fucking pod's over, dog.
I wasn't in it either. We gonna jump this motherfucker.
Fuck his ass up.
God no,
You ain't got but one good arm anyway?
Oh yeah, we beating the shit out of him.
After his whole thing about you just be happy for each other.
I'm
We
gonna
just
be
did
happy
this-
for him.
We just did this for 10.
We not hating. I'm gonna like you when
I'm
it
gonna
drop.
like you
I'ma
when it's
like
over.
you.
I'm gonna fucking show up to
See,
the.
that's a cultural
I'm going to the
thing.
premiere.
All right,
right,
maybe,
it's-
maybe I'm not.
No.
Yeah, we just
But-
gonna beat his
I'm gonna
ass.
stomp a mud hole in your
Yeah.
ass today.
But
But
we
when the
still
film
love
come
him,
out,
yeah.
I'm showing the fuck up and showing out. I'm
Right.
I put
promoting
a suit
it.
on.
That was me. That was
but
me.
no, but just follow my YouTube page. I'll have a lot of stuff coming out there, and then bopping around to some states. So just follow me on Instagram. I'll post about it and stuff like that. But yeah,
Hell yeah.
Awesome. As a comedian, 1220, pop out, celebrating my 10th year of doing insanity, also known as comedy. Super excited. If you have the ability, I come and catch a Bob Curry show. If you want to see me sing and dance, I'm not really.
I want to see you sing and dance.
Aye.
I'm coming to catch a Bob Curry show. The
hello
fuck is
my
your time?
darling, hello my lady.
Yeah, a little outing.
Now, why the fuck would I be doing that?
Right, you
Can
know
we
they,
insert a
that's
clip
fucked
of
up,
the
man.
fucking ancient?
because you know that's not what they do. They do, honey, something, Cotton Eye Joe.
Now y'all see why I don't
Hey.
pull up my Bob Curry show.
Cotton Eye Kyrie. What's up?
Go
No,
see
the-
Harry at Second City.
No, the fuck
if
you don't.
Want to.
Hey, you go code switch with the up there too.
No, I get in trouble. I get in trouble so
Hey,
Hi
honey.
guys.
Hey, I'm Kyrie, guys.
I'm Kyrie from Beyond Bars.
Well, I'm feeling really swell right now.
Cotton Eye Joe. That's my favorite song.
You're doing improv with a smoothie.
See you at 1959.
Swell.
Cotton Eye Joe. All right. What the fuck was that?
I don't
You
know.
rinsing
That was
out
crazy.
the-
I was
That
rinsing out. I was rinsing out
wild.
my shake weight.
Nope.
Your shake weight.
All right,
Nope.
your shows. Your shows. Your shows.
Nope.
We got Charlie did not sign up for.
I'm
this.
sorry, Charlie.
Yeah,
Sorry, Charlie.
Charlie's
Sorry,
first
Charlie.
interaction
Too
with our
easy.
podcast.
So sorry, Charlie. I really do know how to act.
He doesn't.
No.
This is not even the worst of Kyrie. This is regular Kyrie. He didn't even do the loud into the mic thing today.
These drugs gonna be gone tomorrow.
Tomorrow, they be
Fuck this
done
show
by
tonight.
10 o'clock.
I got the rest of the crib because you got to get your
That's
uppers.
crazy. What? No,
bad.
no.
If you don't,
no.
you gonna go to sleep.
Catherine, where are you coming up? Fuck out of here.
Fuck, my grandma watched this.
You did it. Nobody voluntarily is like,
Like
hey,
she gonna
he
see
did-
the visual. Okay, never mind.
I'm at Lincoln Lodge and Laugh Factory, and then headlining some stuff on the road in January, February, like one-nighters that I'm excited about and we'll continue to plug. But for now, that. And the
That's it?
holidays and stuff. Yeah, I'm around.
Same shows for me. December 27th through 29th, I'm at the DC Comedy Loft. January 3rd and 4th, I'm at Big Laughs in Fort Worth, Texas. Outside of that, if you see me walking around, don't say shit. I don't fucking want to talk to you. I'm not friendly.
Monk's been taking pre-workout.
I think on steroids.
If I was on steroids, I'd have slapped the shit out of you for saying that. Don't do that. Fuck is wrong with you? I'm sorry. We just had a moment. My bad.
It's the Roy's talking.
It's
okay.
new. It's new.
Roy's
This kindness
talking.
is new for me. I don't. I'm so sorry. I'm a kinder, gentler monk. Fuck you looking at. I'm sorry. Habits are hard to break.
I think we're done.
I think I need some magic mushrooms so we can all be a unity.
Well, thank you guys so much for bringing me
Ego.
into this
Thank you,
world.
man. Support
Jarrell.
Jarrell. Follow him on all the things. He's
Yeah.
gonna be amazing, especially
True.
if he include us in
Yeah.
his fucking project.
And it's funny because we did it literally the least, Jarrell. We talk about so often on here how you're such a brilliant comedian, and we didn't give you your due directly to you.
I
feel
did.
like
I did. I
today.
said I
Thank you.
thought you
Did
were
we-
amazing.
But seriously, support Jarrell.
I also said I beat your ass. So
yeah.
both are true.
Come see all of us. And we'll do it. We're gonna do a live recording at some point. We still haven't figured out, but we're gonna do a live recording here at the Lincoln Lodge.
Tyler's
So
not going to
support
record it. He's sick of
Lodge
this
2,
shit.
Support
Yeah, Tyler's
everybody
sick
that
of our
does
shit.
this. Thank you for.
He had a hand job
hosting
appointment at
us
8:30.
here.
What the fuck is wrong with you? Why would you say you had a hand job?
Whoa.
So
Y'all think Tyler ain't worth a hand job? What the fuck is wrong with y'all?
you're
That's crazy.
Please
You
turn
deserve
his
Just
mic off.
turn the shit
What
off. Turn the
the
shit
fuck is
off.
happening? Why would
I'm
Tyler?
kidding.
Jesus Christ, man.